Five. You know the position that Man U kept coming in? 5.
Chelsea, seriously, I just want you to know that I was here when this happened.
It's a stretch, and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this! Aguero! Guess who? It's him again!
What's up? It's Mac, Absolute Sitter, and I want to thank you for... Alright, look, let's get into this. Alright, so I wrote some notes from today's game. I wanted to touch on some bigger things than just this game. This is a bigger systemic issue that we need to discuss. So, obviously, I'm not happy about the result. Obviously, also, the one silver lining that can be made about today's game is the fact that the transfer window is still open and there's a lot of things that can still be addressed in a short amount of time. So first things first, let's get into that part. It's panic season now. It's panic buy time, okay? Panic season buy, whatever you want to call that. It is time to make a purchase. The time for negotiating and nitpicking 5 million here and this and that, and I know those are astronomical amounts of money for me and you or the average man, but we're talking about big, huge sports franchises here. If we end up with this window closing and the evaluations of 5 to 10 million is the reason why Fofana doesn't come, it's the reason Aubameyang doesn't come, when we have supposedly agreed terms with both players at this point. We're not talking about salary demands and contract lengths and all of this. This is just purely paying for the player now. We're in the late stages of the window. You're going to pay a premium for taking this long. This is not something that Chelsea just noticed they had. This is not like the midfield where we just ended up with a midfield crisis because both of our preferred starting midfielders are injured. And even that can be addressed. But the window is open. We're about 3 games in now to everybody's season. You're going to pay a premium. You've come this far. Don't let the window close without signing a striker, without signing a defender. And the midfield thing, it's not an issue for me. For me, start using the youth. That is what having a big squad is all about. Put a mix in there. Play players in their positions. If they don't fit there, let them at least show you that. Let them at least show you that. This whole, we want to pay 15, they want 20, they want 30, but we only want to pay 25. That was for in June, July, maybe the beginning of August, but not 2-3 games into the season when there's it's glaring that we need a striker. What are we going to do now? It's put up or shut up time with that. I've already addressed this in a short, so I'm going to say this again. Enough is enough is enough. Kai Havertz and Mason Mount need to be fighting over minutes. This looks very much similar to me, although that was more of an issue of players that would play similar roles even though they had different profiles. This looks like England. This looks like the golden generation of English footballers that ended up achieving nothing. Wayne Rooney, Lampard, all of them retired with no honors. And one of the major issues with that generation, and I won't get into all the other systemic things besides maybe inflating their worth in football, but one of the major issues was no manager had the guts, balls, cojones, whatever you want to call it, to just make the call and say, I'm going with Frank Lampard or I'm going with Steven Gerrard. They kept trying to find a way to force this square peg into this round hole and it never fit. Mason Mount and Kai Havertz need to be fighting over minutes. Mason Mount is not a winger. Pushing him out there It's frustrating for the fans. It's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for the player at this point, right? Kai Havertz, he is not a striker. He's not a center forward. He's basically what you see Germany doing with Müller for years and years and years. Whether you want to call that inverted winger, you want to call that number 8, which it's not really. He makes late runs. He joins the attack. He needs to be played with a striker, played off a striker, behind a striker. This him through the middle doesn't work. He's ineffective in there. And throwing him out on the wing, just as useless. At this point, why is Pulisic sitting on the bench? Why is Hakim Ziyech and Pulisic sitting on the bench for them to see the same tired experiment happen over and over and over? Raheem Sterling, adding him to the mix is not enough for it. And I would like to address this before Raheem Sterling starts to be dripping in whack juice too. Okay? That combo, dead it now. Dead it. It's Kai or Mason. Stop with both of them now. I'm not saying they can never play in the same team, but from start, yeah, it's just enough with it now. 5 subs. The next thing, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. You know the position that Man U kept coming in? 5. That's how many subs you have. 5. There is no reason now that the game, this fundamentally changes coaching. And I need the managers, not just Thomas Tuchel, all managers to start addressing this. Okay? You have 5 subs. There is no reason when you put on a first half display like Chelsea had and you're 2-0 down going into the half that the same exact 11 comes out. No reason at all. Yeah, we'll only still have 90 minutes. The game hasn't prolonged. But you have 5 subs. You could have tried something from much earlier in the game. I mean, it took you until 3-0 before you decided, hey, maybe Mason Mount should come off now. I don't know what he's doing. He must be lights out in training. But I'm not going to get back down that road. But there's 5 subs. There's 5 opportunities to try and address any inconsistencies you're seeing, any weaknesses you're seeing, just personnel. If you're seeing morale, you're not seeing the right body language, you don't see the right physicality, something. Try something. If we had the same exact result today and I had seen all the subs utilized in an effective amount of time, I wouldn't have as much complaints. So besides people nitpicking and saying that the manager got it wrong with the tactics and maybe the personnel, which I would argue, I'm not really sure what you guys were expecting. I don't know how many people saw that lineup and was pissed off at the beginning of the game. Maybe during the game and after the game, but at the beginning of the game, if you knew that Kovacic and Kante are both out, you're probably saying, what else? Who else is he really going to start? No. Who could he have started? I would say probably Ampadu, and stop this nonsense of him being a centre back and him going out on loan. Listen, we're never going to get the best out of the youth if they're going on these loans with no kind of future plan set up. It's just getting where they can fit in, and they're going there and wasting the whole season playing out of position. Ethan Ampadu does not play as a centre back. He didn't come to Chelsea as a centre back. Why he's being utilized as some kind of weirdo centre back in a back 3, I don't know. He doesn't have the height for it, and he's always shown to be, albeit not the most quick and most mobile, but a defensive midfielder. Why wasn't he paired with Jorginho in there? I don't get it. At least I could have said it's more of a like for like than putting in probably what was a worse display that we saw in pre-season was the shellacking that Arsenal gave us with this same exact midfield. So while I have defended the fact that I didn't really have a big qualm with the starting lineup, there was other things to try. You're short of players because of injury, maybe put Loftus-Cheek in there, and then put Aspilicueta from the beginning of the game instead of this Reece James as centre back. I get what you're trying to do. I really do. I understand. But until Fofana deal gets done, if it's going to get done, what are we doing? What are we doing? Alright, at this point, Mendy and Jorginho are low-hanging fruit to try and go after when we keep on coming up with this whole, like, what was wrong today. Mendy's howler was obviously, I mean, it's an individual error and it's a big individual error. There is also something to be said that this is happening too often with him. It doesn't always lead to a goal like today, but this like dwelling on the ball when you know that you're maybe not the best with your feet, that needs to be sorted out on the training ground. But at the same time, erase that from the game. We still probably lose 2-3-0. Even without that gift of a goal. We still probably lose at least 2-0. It wasn't like the scoreline flattered Leeds. They deserved all of the goals that they got. Right? So Mendy is the easier and obvious issue that we had there. And Jorginho's immobility, people keep pointing at that. But show me in the game where it was an issue that caused us to have a goal to be conceded. He actually was one of the better performers today. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was who he was paired with. And obviously we know, yes, we're in a bit of a midfield crisis right now with both Kovacic and Kante both being injured at the same time. But try something else with personnel. The personnel that we're trying, just keep trying them over and over. It's not going to work. To be honest, I would have rather Mason Mount had dropped in and played alongside Jorginho. Mason Mount playing next to Jorginho with Conor Gallagher being ahead of him would have made more sense to me. If those are the guys that had to start. This nonsense, this is a tactical problem. This is a personnel issue. I don't know where the media narrative that Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech, maybe Hakim Ziyech does want to go, but that Pulisic doesn't want to be there. No, Pulisic is unhappy because he's not being played, and there is no justification for him not being played because Kai Havertz and Mason Mount are both being ineffective. So there's low-hanging fruit to go after Jorginho and go after Mendy when there's much bigger systemic issues going on. Another one that people are going to go after, Koulibaly. Silly red card to get, stupid second foul. Okay, there's two people that I'm going to go after with this one. And again, Koulibaly is the obvious and very easy choice to go after. Koulibaly's second professional yellow. We're already losing by 3-0 and we look like we can't score 2 goals, let alone 3. So there's no rescuing this game at this point. Putting in a professional foul to what? Stop 4-0? What's the difference? What's the difference between 3-0 and 4-0? Who cares? You're still going to lose. It's going to be the same 3 points dropped, right? So putting in that professional foul made absolutely no sense. So yeah, shame on you, wag my finger at Koulibaly, who is still trying to find his foot in there. I mean, I heard a stat that was kind of crazy. The fact that he's only been sent off 6 times. Or is it 8 times? Something like that in his 6 years at Napoli. Or either one of those numbers. It's either 6 in 8 or 8 in 6. He has achieved 1 in 3 games at Chelsea so far. And granted, okay, wag your finger at him for that. But again, going back to one of the original sins from this video. 5 subs. He had a yellow card from before we got to the midway point of the first half. Why in the 80th minute are we not just doing damage control? This game is lost already. Sub him off, put in Chalobah, let him get some minutes, rest him Koulibaly. Now we have to go without Koulibaly for the next game. And it's unnecessary. Because again, it was an unnecessary risk to try and think that we needed him to. With 3 subs, you have to do those kind of things. With 5 subs, the game's already lost. Just cut your losses. Take him off. Take him off. So I blame the manager for that as well as Koulibaly. Alright, nitpicking. I am not making any excuses for Chelsea's performance. It was just horrible today. But nitpicking, this referee's obsession that seems to be going on with Raheem Sterling and making sure that they get offside call. I mean, harking back to the last game, talking about offside calls, right? Richarlison is offside, no review. Raheem Sterling today, that was questionable if he was offside. And that foul they called on him today, I saw it back. It's not a foul. It led to the goal. Arguably, Chelsea should have done better defending. But the reason why I'm addressing it is it's starting to become a trend that we're getting bad calls with one particular player. And if no one says anything and they go, yeah, but we were going to get battered anyway and that stuff, it overlooks the fact that there are wrong calls going in on one particular player. More often than not. I'm not saying that there's definitely an agenda or anything like that. I'm just noting it from early that Raheem Sterling is starting to kind of seem to have, maybe right now it's luck. If it continues, then it's going to become more of a trend or something. But I'm keeping an eye on that one because it just seems really crazy that the referee is always spot on and even hypersensitive to him and calling him offside and getting calls wrong when he's involved. So just keep an eye on that one because I will. And that's pretty much it. We need to do what we need to do in the transfer window. As I said, panic buy season is among us. You see the reactionary moves that Manchester United are making, but the thing is, every minute now that after they've gotten their wake up call, it's been, here we goes, this move looks like it's gonna be done. We're dragging out all of these things and we don't have time for this. Before you know it, the league will be away from it and we'll be fighting for Champions League, and we won't even hit September or October yet before we're talking about just trying to make Champions League. We got a lifeline. I mean, Man City was held to a draw with Newcastle in the battle of Middle Eastern money, 3-3. So there is hope that, they're not just going to run away with it. But for all the praise that the Premier League gets for being so competitive and being the best league, like right now, who looks to be even close to competing with these people? Maybe Arsenal, and nobody seems to believe in Arsenal. So this is really a one-horse race at this point, and before it becomes a one-horse race not even worth watching, we need to address some certain things. Yes, Fofana will be overpriced. Pay the money. It's a domino effect. You pay the money now to be able to win or compete at a high enough level that next year, when you're trying to get the targets you want, like Nkunku and whoever else you're looking at, you're not going to attract these players with fighting for fourth and with no silverware. If you can pick up, it's a long shot, but make a run in the Champions League, pick up a FA Cup, compete for the top, do something, then you can try and talk to these guys. Otherwise, they're just going to go to PSG and Bayern Munich, or Man City is going to come in for them, or Liverpool, or somebody like that is going to come in. And that's not a knock to Liverpool either. They have the same mission, pretty much. Because for me, I think Liverpool is much closer to fighting for fourth this season. I'm going to jump out the window on that one. They'll be closer to fighting for top four than they will be for fighting Man City for the league, barring Man City doing some kind of total capitulation collapse. They're the only horse in the race right now. You can have this facade of Spurs going to challenge, and they will challenge, but the only horse, the only favorite, the only fans that can really say that their team is favorite to win or they're confident that they can lift the trophy as a Premier League trophy this year is Man City fans. Anybody else is just being hopeful or unrealistic. So let's do it now. It's go time. Press the button. We need better tactics. We need some addressing certain things on the training ground. I'm not worried about the left back position. You know why? Because we have depth and we have competition there. Maybe that's really what's going on with Mendy. Maybe he needs a new goalkeeper coach or something. I know a high profile goalkeeper coach left Chelsea. Address that with him. But again, those are the low hanging fruit. There are bigger systemic issues to be addressed. One of which is that if we're conceding early, we don't look a threat to even equalize, let alone come back to win the game. Address these things. Or I'm just going to tune out this season and watch like Bundesliga or something, because I can't sit down and actively watch this. Not because I'm spoiled and I need to see my team win, but because we know exactly what the problem is and we're not addressing it. Anyway, thanks for checking in. Stay tuned. Hopefully, not everything will be as doom and gloom as this, but we need to get it together. I'm out.